Hey, my beautiful lights. What I'm hearing as of late is 1449. So 144,900 have made it to the ship. Like we've all come together. And then this was this morning. And then last night I heard, well, actually yesterday morning, I heard everything's coming together. Like the kind of the vision or the feeling that I got was when we've all honored our scars and everything is smoothed over. And what I mean by that is your fear, your uncomfortability is your mountain, your valley is your scars, and everything that you've been through that has dug us out through the trenches. And then the tears that we cry, the water that fills the void, that fills the space, that fills the scar, that fills the valley, is our hope and our remembrance. And so when we water the ground, meaning the ground within, the valleys within, the desert within, we melt the ice around our hearts, then we begin to walk on water because there's no more mountains and valleys. We've cleared the air. And so I heard that almost as if like now that that's all done, everything forms, everything takes form, everything takes shape, everything comes into vision, comes into sight. So if that is making sense, or if that is like, whoa, that's something I kind of want to listen to, stick around. I am Jennifer Renee. This is Within by Jen. And what I teach is it's ancient wisdom of living life to the fullest, living in harmony and in coherence, living in abundance and success in whatever means that we look at it. However, sometimes the external world would have us put definitions on success that don't make us feel success. Like, you know that if you've ever been try to climb the corporate ladder, you try to do all these things of what society tells you success looks like, and then you make it there and you're like, it felt great for a moment, but then that feeling is fleeting and you're like, wow, this doesn't feel like I wanted it to feel. The longevity of it isn't there. And now I just have to keep pushing to do more, to produce more, to show up more, to prove myself more. And it is exhausting. So what we're here to teach is, it's not a new way, but it's a new way for a lot of us, but it's an old way of being where we truly get to live in harmony, and the abundance flows to us because we're living in coherence, we're living in whole completeness, we're living in unison, we're living according to the divine will. I mean, that's it. And so I'd like to touch in on that a little bit more. I had a beautiful friend of mine gift me how to find people's gifts. And I've talked about this so many times. And while some people are like, it's not about the gifts. Well, our society has told us that the gifted program, or that those that are different, those that are far out there, those that think different, those that don't fit in the box are separate from, and then we never quite fit in, or we never felt like we quite fit in. However, we fit in perfectly. We're the missing piece that goes back in, that kind of like shakes it to the core a little bit and then says, hey, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't feel good, I don't like the way this is going, I don't like the way any of this feels. You know what I'm talking about. That's probably why you're here, where it just didn't make sense, it didn't feel right. And so we begin to dismantle that old system, and those are the thought forms in our head. We remove those one by one, and then we honor the truth of who we are. And so, like I've said so many times, these messages, listening and hearing these messages, like I said, there's only one voice. It's the voice of the divine will of Mother, Father, God. Hearing that voice to deliver transmissions, to be a messenger. Your path isn't supposed to look like mine. That's the most beautiful thing. And that's what tripped me up so many times, is because I thought, I don't want it to look like that. And I don't want it to look like that. And so, but it was because I never had a living example to follow this to the nth degree. And even then, if I was called to go deeper, if I was called to listen more, if I was called to sit more in silence, listening to those calls, I did. It just, like I said, something shifted in me where I knew that this is what I had to do. And so she gifted me how to find specific gifts. So I'm going to bring that back full circle. And I know that's what I'm here to do, is to talk about the things that you experience, the way that you see the world, the way that you hear the world, the colors that you see in the world, the way that you feel things. It's all a beautiful gift. We were designed to perfection. And so once we remove the old system of feeling like something's wrong, we're sick, we're this, we're that, we remove it and we start being honest with ourselves. That is when the true essence of our soul can sing. Really, it's really about singing in harmony and not being afraid to be perceived as weird, and it's not people, it's the judgment within people. It is the fear within people. When I point out these things, I'm not talking about the individual, because the individual is beautiful, whole, and complete. We just forgot. And the forgetting makes us fill those spaces with all the emotion that we don't know is plaguing us. And so once we call the emotion out, we just say, hey, whatever you're feeling right now, be honest with yourself, and then call it out. Once you call it out, it's like I've shined light on it, and then it loses its power. It's just kind of like the monster in the room. Once you're not afraid of the monster in the room, it loses its power, and we alchemize it. It sends back to source, to love, because you're like, wait, where did that fear even begin within me? Where did judgment begin within me? Where did, this is beautiful, it begins in me. Where did self-doubt begin in me? Where did worry begin in me? And it sends us back to an innocent child that most likely experienced something that then led to a habit, a pattern, a thought form that just got bigger and bigger, and then you don't know how to get out of it. And so that's what we're here to do. We're here to dismantle that old and to shine light and truth on really why we're here, and that's to live in harmony, to live the life of our dreams, to live in abundance and bliss, without all the push and without the proving and without the nonsense, literally climbing the ladder to then still work for somebody, to still have a thumb on you telling you what you can and can't do. The biggest and best thing, and I was going to post a video of me watering my garden yesterday, and it's like the 10,164,500 reason why I chose so delicately and methodically and perfectly to create my business. As a creator, we are closest to God. When we honor our pain, we're closest to the mother. When we create and we take action, the action-oriented steps, that is the bravery, that is the mover closest to the Father. And so you can't have one without the other. And to honor the balance, the holy matrimony within, is the greatest gift that we can offer ourselves. That takes honesty. And so creating my business to where I can get up and water my garden in the morning and deliver these messages to you could not have been designed more perfect for me. But it took me listening and taking action-oriented steps where the inspiration was taking me, where that wind was taking me. It actually took me going, I don't know where this is taking me at all, but I know it's taking me somewhere, and I know I need to listen. And that's it. And so listening to the inspiration, start writing down your thoughts, your feelings, your inspiration, your hopes, your dreams, and then start listening to the nudges. That's it. That's it. Just trying to listen if there's anything else that needs to come through. It's just taking me back to it begins in me. It begins in me. And so how can, if we have not experienced somebody in our waking world leading by example, what is one thing that you can do to live by example of honesty, integrity, truth, and your reality will show you every day. And that might mean taking somebody to the side and saying, hey, what's going on with you? Are you okay today? Or that might mean somebody being disrespectful, or somebody, I'm trying to find everyday examples. Holding the door for somebody. Random acts of kindness. What else? It's those little things. It's those little things, honestly. Sharing a smile, sharing eye contact, listening to somebody's story with intent to listen. Not with the intent to appease, not with the intent to have them get the story over so then you can be done with it. I'm actually listening and then responding, being able to carry and hold a circular conversation. It's so beautiful. Showing people that they're heard and that they're seen is the most beautiful gift that we can give to one another. So how can it begin in each and every one of us? That is something that each and every one of us start doing. And that is we have to be very mindful of what we're feeding ourselves. That is with music, with TV, with everything going on right now on the TV. If it is causing you discomfort and anguish, then why is the battle? So if I say something to you, and it causes you to go in a line of defense, that means you still have a wall up. That's it. Because once your walls are down, everything can flow through you beautifully. And so if today or this week somebody says something that's triggering you or that is causing you to put your defenses up with fighting or with arguing or with trying to explain yourself, I've lived in that space trying to explain myself, then I would ask for you to say, okay, what version of myself am I trying to explain? This is the awareness. The awareness is key. This means you catching it before you react. This means you going, this is it. This is that moment of clarification. So you go within, I don't need to explain myself anymore. I don't need to fight this battle anymore. The battle's been won. We've already won. Yeah, God's children, we've won. And we're here. We're here to exclaim and to sing the praises of the divine and teach us how to live in the world without being attached to the world. We still are here, earth, we're here right now to experience glory. And so how can we live here knowing that we're not ultimately from here? Is that right? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We go back into the earth, our soul flies free. Being in this world but not of it. And how can we honor that? How can we live in it without separating ourselves from everything? Unless that's what you want to do. If that makes you happy, boo, do it. But when you find yourself and you're like, man, this isn't exactly what I hoped for. This isn't exactly what I wanted. This isn't everything and more. Then you figure it out as you go. Your living experience is teaching you what you need to know. Well, the first thing we need to know is to honor this. Honor this with love, with compassion, with tenderness, with grace. Yeah, I think that is all for today. I'm Jennifer Renee. This is Within by Jen. It's within each and every one of us. It always, always has been. This is miraculous times that we're living. Miraculous. Open your heart, open your eyes to see. And I promise you'll see it. It's right in front of each and every one of us all the time. And sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, the messenger or the whatever experience shows up right in front of us. But we're so conditioned to do a certain thing. We're so conditioned to make other people happy. We're so conditioned, and I know that that can even be triggering. But I can speak from example. I didn't know how to honor myself, and so I wanted to make everybody else feel what I didn't know how to feel. I had to figure out how to feel that first, and then I can truly show up and show others how to feel it too. So that's what I mean by that. But we get conditioned and we get in ruts and we get in cycles. Those ruts also are just the habit, the wheel, the hamster wheel. Just digging out that dirt so you can just stay right in it. And once you allow yourself to see it, you're like, man, I want to try something different today. Let me see what this brings. Then, yeah, I'm so honored that we are capturing these beautiful light. Yeah. I hope you feel it. I hope you feel it. I'm going to sit in silence. I believe that these are all the messages that are coming through for today, but I'm going to sit in silence for a minute and just allow us to experience this light pulsating. Bathe me in your light. Bathe me in your love. Everything else fades away. The reign of the divine is now among us. And that includes everyone. There is no separation. The only separateness that we may perceive is others not believing they are a part of it. It is for all. And we treat others accordingly. We act in accordance to the divine will of God.